I think there was a lot of work from zone 1, 2, and one from zone 2 to 3, and I think it was quite a commendable. But before we move forward, let me just quickly walk you through. There is something which is going to be really exciting after 15 minutes. We have really worked up on creating one of the most disruptive products in India so far, and that's again predominantly built on data. Now everybody is talking about AI right now, but let's see how that AI can really move forward. Before I do, I just quickly want to walk you through a quick 30 seconds of what we exactly have done so far and what brings us here.
Financial footprints which we all have created, and we deserve to get what is more beneficial for me.
Finvasia are trying to identify challenges in different verticals.
Capital markets, wealth management, cryptos, banking, and technology FinTech group as a whole.
Thank you very much. But that's history. What I'm going to talk to you in the next 15 minutes is something which we all have thought, imagined, thinking about it every day, every night. I really want to know, what am I doing? What is happening with my money? What is happening with my finance? And that's exactly what we're going to bring it on the dais right now, is the future of finance. Now that's very cliche. That's very something which we always thought and wanted, but guess what? How that really help is what we're going to bring in. So this is India's first Make in India AI FinTech super app. And when we say that, what we are talking about is not an AI which has been built up at the back end. We are not talking about AI which is going to be helping a lot of fintechs. This is going to help you, everyone, every individual, and that's what exactly we've been talking about. So, as a super app, and I know the earlier one was also talking about the value, but trust me, the value is not transactional. The value will never be transactional. We have seen a one problem, one app solution. We have seen payments app. We have seen digital apps. We have seen personal financial apps. All that is a transactional which is bound to happen. And that's exactly what the super apps bring as of right now. But that's not going to be the future. When we are talking about future, we are saying that I need to move beyond that. And that's where I say, when the data talks to data, we will all get to know what we don't know. And that's what the future of AI in FinTech is going to be. Just a quick stats of India. We have seen around 77% of people are having bank accounts. But guess what? Only 4.2 people are able to actively be an investors. We are talking about creating wealth for the next biggest demographic of the world. We all know that what the demographic dividend India has, and that's exactly what is required for the Indian investors to look at. AI for Bharat. It's been built up on predominantly 4 pillars of AI: cognitive, predictive, generative, and explainable AI. And we have all heard that. But let me just give you a quick synopsis of how this works. And this is going to be live in front of you, where you will be able to talk about your transactions, about your data. Everyone, we all know that there are financial digital footprints we all have created. Every time we are going to a mobile application, we are thinking to do something which will really do a transfer from A to B, which will help us to invest in any of the Indian markets or global markets. You are going to an application where you'll be able to take digital loans. All that is existing, right? We're just looking at all these different applications who have really helped us to do these different things. And that's where we all have believed what my value is. I'm just transferring A bank to a B bank, and I believe that my life has been so simple. But that's not the case. Every time we go to bed, we always have one question. Can I really know more about my finance? Can I really ask any question about my finance? And I wish there was someone who can really help me. Yes, I have an answer for you. And that's exactly what we are bringing. This is JAI for the first time in India. We are working, this is made in India, AI FinTech Super App. When we do that, we are simply saying that, can I create an ecosystem where I can talk to my data? And that's where the future will be. So for an example, I get up in the morning and saying, man, I really need to know what is going on with me. And I say that, based on my last financial year expenses, show me my budget plan. Simple. You think of a question and you can answer right here. That's exactly what we are talking about. So all these questions, and this is predominantly built up on a lot of LLM models at the back end. And then there are going to be different features I would love to show you in a few minutes. You just pick up a question which you want, and guess what? It gives you everything what you have done so far. It just goes to your entire transactional data, and it says that, what's my budget? What's my prediction, right? I've been doing these transactions for the longest time. Can I know how much would I potentially be spending in the next month? And guess what? You've been doing this mathematics on an Excel file, your friends, a lot of manual data, nothing doing. You walk up, you use this mobile app, and it's going to run through your entire financial transactions, and you simply have to say, show me what would I do in next month. And this has been built up on all your historical data points, and once you do that, it's going to create a prediction for you. Now, what does prediction do? Nothing. You just tell me a number and say, hey, that's what you're going to spend next month. No rocket science, man. I mean, I've been doing it. Can you do more? Sure. Can you really see a comparative analysis between your predictions and your planning? And that's what this USP, the whole value chain is. When you see your predictions, you say, hey, I don't want to do this. I want to save 10% of my expenses. Let me make sure I cut my budget. And interestingly, you create your own plans. And when you do that, you're consciously training your models, but you're also consciously training your mind. And this is where I believe the next future of finance would be, that you can talk to your data, you can understand what is going on, and you can plan it better. And once that happens, you will say, I will make sure I'm going to cut my expenses, say for 5%, and I'm going to invest. And you don't have to go anywhere else. This app is going to be a completely one-stop shop financial ecosystem for your banking, for your investments, for your payments, for your personal finance, for your digital lending. You can think of anything. You have one application which is closely working with you on anything you're doing. And that's what we are talking about. So you create your budgets, you create your expenses, and then you say, I want to do better. Now, let's try something else. Can you categorize all my expenses and also show me insights about my all over finance? Simple. All you're doing is you're asking question. That's my right. That's what I want to know. This is my data. This is my value. I want to make sure that every time I ask something, I get my output. I don't want to create a very comprehensive solution where you go to them and then they have a one-stop and saying, hey, take it or leave it. But this is an absolutely most hyper-customized, hyper-personalized ecosystem where you can ask anything about your financial transactions on any of your financial requirements, and this would absolutely have it. So what it would do, it would not only categorize anything, but there is a more customized element to it. Now what it does, every time you are having, the LLM models does these financial transactional categorization work on that, but that's not what you are. So you can customize all your transactions, you can create into any kind of categories, you can decide, you can change, you can modify, you can think of anything. That's what exactly the whole ecosystem will build up. So the more you will tell the models about you, it's going to be very constantly learning exactly what your cognitive behavior is. And it's going to give you exactly the services what you want. And the ultimate goal is how you can really save money. It categorizes to food, travel, entertainment. You can think of it. Anything you have thought of it. And guess what? There is another element to it. It would create a very customized insights, right? So if you look at it, this month you have spent a total of 72,020 till now with the highest expenses amount of 4030. That's exactly what you're doing. It is going into your data, it is analyzing, and then creating those insights which we all have been thinking and waiting for it. And that is where this personalized ecosystem will create the next level of financial inclusion, and that's exactly what the world wants, and that's exactly what I believe we've been offering for the Indian clients to start with. Is that over? Absolutely not. India is all about languages. The world is all about languages. Can you really create an application which is only English? Nah, doesn't work. Guess what? The massive demographic which India has, the languages which exist in India doesn't work with English. Some of the people who are aware with the Hindi, fine. If not, I'm going to ask a question in Hindi, which is going to give answer back in the Hindi language. And that's the whole vernacular side of creating these customized solutions for Bharat, for tier 2, tier 3 city, for anybody who doesn't know English, but has access to his money, wants to do better with money, and has a question which they need answer on. मुझे मेरे खर्चे बताओ. I'm just saying, show me my expenses. Oops. It would build the entire journey for your language, for your questions, for your answers. And now you don't have to go to anyone. The whole idea of biasness, the whole idea of customization, the whole idea of making it accessible, that's where I believe the future is. And this is exactly what we are talking about, that how can we create solutions which are for me? I don't want a one problem, one app solution. I want a very comprehensive ecosystem where I can go and do one thing, ask a question. There are a lot more. It also creates a lot of insights, highlights of what you're doing, how you're doing, and ultimately it's going to give you a lot of advisory side of how ultimately you need to do better, right? I mean, the objective is not that I have got to know, but I also want to know how can I do better. And that, I believe, is where the whole idea of creating these customized end-to-end solution for the Indian demographic market is right now. And with that, all I'm trying to say is that you don't have to ask anyone, you don't have to go anywhere. All you have to do is simply think of a question, and the model will go into your data, into your analytics, and come back with an answer which belongs to you. Nobody can do that better than the AI. And this is what I believe the entire personal financial management ecosystem which has been lacking for the longest time. We have always seen transactional as a value. That's not true. Buying and selling is no transaction. Sending a money is no value. The value is when you are able to understand what your cognitive behavior is. Can you create those explainable AI, right? So the ultimate point is you know what it is, but you just don't know how to get it, right? The whole simplicity of explaining things, letting people know what this transactional data means, that's where the future is. So with that, I must say that I just wanted to keep short and sweet. But coming to a point, the whole ecosystem is already there. We are planning to work on this in the next few weeks. The whole idea to bring to Dubai FinTech Summit was to let know that where the future is moving, what exactly we are talking about, how AI can really create that last mile connectivity, can create that value and make sure that ultimately you don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to ask anyone. You have a very simplified, any language based ecosystem where all you have to do is go. Money was conventional. Now money is conversational. That's exactly what we are trying to bring. For the longest time, we have seen our parents, ourselves saying that, hey, what do I do with my money? I really need to do better. But ultimately, talking to your data point, talking and understanding the behavior of money, that's where the future is. With that, I would like to wind up in saying, welcome to Jay. Welcome to the future of India, where money does more. Thank you very much.